How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We finally did it, guys. 10,000 subscribers. I'm seriously blown away by how much I was able to grow in this time period, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. It means so much that there are 10,000 people out there willing to support me in this channel. It really means so much. Now, to celebrate this milestone, we're going to be creating a whole new series, which is, what if Cell was reincarnated? I've had a lot of people suggesting reincarnation what ifs lately, which is probably because of Salad saying. Now, while he was able to make Frieza, and in canon there's Oob, now we just need the next big bad of the series to get his own reincarnated form, Cell. Before we begin, let's see if we can get this video to 1,000 likes. That way I know if you guys want a continuation of this series. Now, without further ado, let's head right into this scenario. We naturally begin before Cell's actual death in the series, which is the Kamehameha struggle between himself and Gohan. While Gohan is struggling to hold back Cell's Kamehameha, he wishes that it didn't have to turn out like this. He really hates fighting, and he just wishes that Cell could have been a good person. That way, none of this would have to happen. Goku overhears Gohan's thoughts during the struggle, and tells his son that if he lets go now, then maybe he can try and bring Cell back as a good guy. Gohan has no idea how they can do that, and Goku says he can try and pull some strings with King Yama. Right now though, Gohan needs to unleash all of his energy. The same ending occurs as in canon, with Vegeta helping during the father-son Kamehameha that wipes Cell out of existence. With Cell gone, the universe is saved, and while sure Cell's an android, he still has a soul, as we can see during the filler in canon, as Cell was able to go to hell. Meaning King Yama can take Cell's soul here, clean it up, and make it as pure as he can, and reincarnate Cell into a human right away. Goku hears about this Cell reincarnation actually happening, and thanks King Yama for actually listening in, and helping to bring him back as a good guy. Goku is tempted to go back to Earth to see how powerful this Cell reincarnation is going to be, but he still thinks that him returning is going to be terrible for the Earth, and he decides to stay in the afterlife. Hopefully the other Z fighters will find Cell's reincarnation and help train him up to be one of the Earth's protectors. Time passes and the events of the 7-year time skip begin. The events in these 7 years go pretty much exactly as normal, with everything right before Gohan starts high school being the exact same. While everything for the Dragon Team goes by pretty much as normal, there is a major change happening for another character, Android 17. Android 17 is living his best life now, being a park ranger for Monster Island and having a lovely wife and kid. Unfortunately, we have no idea who this kid is or who his wife is, but they're really not that important right now. What is really important is that 17 and his wife are willing to have another kid. 17 really wants to adopt a kid, as he feels that he owes these foster kids something. He himself was taken off the streets by a horrible scientist and turned into what he is now. He wants to make sure that none of these new kids get taken by somebody else horrible. His wife is totally okay with 17's reasonings, and the two go out to find a child to adopt. There is only one child available to be seen at this time, and when 17 goes in to see him, he gets the shock of his life. This kid in front of him, he can feel some sort of connection with him, as if he's seen him before. After looking into the kid's eyes, he can tell he feels it too, and the kid even begins to fiddle with the black and orange bracelet on his wrist. That's when it hits him. This child, somehow this has to be Cell. No way. How can this be Cell? Was Cell somehow revived into a human? Was this part of the wish that Krillin made when he took the bombs out of him in 18? Possibly. All he knows is that this kid has to be related to Cell in some way. 17 asks the child for his name, and the boy responds with Lek. Of course, since Oob's name is literally just Buu spelled backwards, Cell is obviously going to be that name backwards, which would be Lek. Of course, the second L in his name doesn't really need to be there, so his name would just be Lek with one L. Lek and 17 get to know each other, and while this child is certainly a good guy, he is also a troublemaker. Lek is very full of himself, stating that he is the most perfect being in the universe. Like, just look at him. He's obviously saying this in a very kiddish way, just meaning it to be funny. And 17 just knows that this kid has to be some reincarnation of Cell in some way. 17 adopts Lek, welcoming him into the family, and giving him a pretty good life. 17 isn't even weirded out in any way, since this Lek is certainly not the Cell that he got to know. This kid does flaunt a lot, showing himself off very much like Cell did, but that's really the only personality trait he seems to have gotten from his former self. He's a very nice guy. He has borrowed something else from his former self though, his power. Lek has amazing power that is growing inside of him, and even though 17 can't sense energy, he can tell just by how confident Lek is in himself. 17 has sparred with Lek, and Lek has been able to keep up with everything that he throws at him. Lek is a very confident fighter, As while sparring with 17, he keeps his cool throughout the fight, completely full of himself. He's acting like this fight is too easy for him, and in some ways, it is, as he seems to get the hang of 17's moveset down. It's almost as if he knows exactly how 17 fights. Of course he knows the way 17 fights. In his past life, 17 used to be a part of him. He still is spiritually, of course, as even between lifetimes, the two were brought together under very different circumstances. After a while, 17 and Lek have certainly become father and son, and 17 even calls up 18, asking if she'd like to visit and meet his new adopted child. While 18 is on the phone with 17, Gohan is at the house too, asking them about the upcoming tournament. Gohan overhears that 17 is around, and that 18 might be visiting him soon. Of course, Gohan asks if he can go with her, at least thinking of asking 17 to join in the tournament too. 18 says she doesn't mind at all, and her, Krillin, Marin, and Gohan all go to 17's home to visit and meet the new kid. Now, when 17 introduces Lek to the others, all of them stop dead in their tracks. 18 a lot more, she can immediately sense a connection with this child. And of course, just like with 17, Lek senses it too. He plays with the other bracelet on his wrist, one that is blue and white. He feels something with her as well. Krillin just sees that this looks exactly like Cell and is kinda freaking out, while Gohan just stares in complete amazement. Did his wish during the final battle actually work? Cell did get revived into a good guy. He didn't expect like this though. Gohan even laughs when he finds out what Lek's name is. It's totally just Cell backwards. Lek feels something weird about Gohan, like he's getting the good guy vibes from him, and he really seems like a nice guy, but there's just a feeling in there that he can't quite understand. One of fear? No, why would he feel that way towards this guy? I mean, just look at the way he's dressed. There's no way this guy can be a possible threat at all. Lek has a good first impression with the group, and is pretty surprised to hear that there's a World Martial Arts tournament coming up. For some reason, that sounds like a lot of fun to him. He doesn't know why, but he really wants to fight in a tournament. Lek loudly announces that too, and asks 17 if it's okay for both of them to participate. 17 knows that there's prize money involved, and with a max amount of 10 million Zen promised, he agrees to enter. Lek is allowed to as well, and 17 tells him that for the next month, the two are really going to start training to do pretty well against all of these Saiyans. Lek has no idea what a Saiyan is, but tells his father he's ready for a good challenge. With Lek around, Gohan also has even more of a reason to train some more, as the reincarnation of his greatest foe is going to be fighting in a tournament, and he should have his old perfect cell strength he's guessing, so he has a little more motivation than usual, which is going to make Gohan a little bit stronger in the long run. 17 and Lek begin training hardcore for a month straight, until the day of the tournament. Now, as of right now, Lek doesn't have all the power of Super Perfect Cell, but he's certainly getting there. Remember, after barely even training at all, 17 is able to at least keep up with Super Saiyan Blue Goku from before the Tournament of Power, so having a training partner this strong is going to benefit Lek greatly. Lek is able to access some techniques he has in his memory for some reason, like this beam called the Kamehameha, and the Death Beam. He has no idea where he got these from, but he thinks they're awesome, and just rolls with it. Lek is able to pretty much reach Super Perfect Cell levels of power in only a month due to his previous genetics. With Frieza being able to train by himself for 4 months, and be able to get the golden form, I'm pretty sure being with Frieza's cells could get as strong as that as well. Now, while Lek doesn't have Frieza's cells baked into him anymore, he still has traits of the Tyrant, meaning he should have some growth benefits to training like Frieza did. Of course, training with somebody as powerful as 17 as well also helps greatly, meaning that Lek is already exceeding Super Perfect Cell levels of power at only 7 years old, which is insane for somebody his age. After the month passes, the tournament officially begins, with Lek being introduced to Goku for the first time. Goku can tell automatically this is the reincarnation of Cell, and he tells Cell that it's nice to meet him. Lek is confused on why this guy just called him Cell, and 17 just shakes his head at Goku, which is telling him, not yet. After that confusion, Lek learns that this tournament has a junior division, and is pretty disappointed, as he wanted to maybe fight with his father. But Goten and Trunks join up with Lek, telling him they feel the same way, and a friendship is immediately formed between these three. Lek can tell that Goten and Trunks are way less mature than he is, even though Trunks is older than him, but they're still fun to hang around with, and a little fun is something that would be nice for the boy. Lek, Goten, and Trunks obviously make it very far in the tournament, and before the final, Goten is actually paired up with Lek. Goten fights Lek with everything that he has, and even then, he can't do anything. Lek is in complete control of this fight. Goten needs some more power to win here, and even when he breaks Gohan's promise and becomes a Super Saiyan, he can't deal any damage at all, and is defeated easily. When Trunks has to face Lek in the final, he is very worried, as he wiped the floor with Goten even as a Super Saiyan. And while Trunks knows he is stronger than Goten, he's not that much stronger, so he's going to have to finish this right away. Trunks becomes a Super Saiyan right off the bat, trying to get in some good powerful blows right away. But Lek is able to easily move out of the way of these attacks, and deal even harder damage back on him. Trunks is outclassed even more than he thought, losing to Lek in no time. Lek is declared the winner of the Kids Division, and as the winner, he can now fight against the champion, Mr. Satan. Mr. Satan is terrified to come onto the ring, as he seems to be the only one to realize that this kid looks just like Cell, and that can't be a coincidence. Plus, he was able to fight off that golden-haired kid, just like Cell did all those years ago. During their fight, Mr. Satan tries to show off and try to scare the kid, but Lek just backhands Satan out of the ring, showing Mr. Satan that, yep, this has to be Cell. Goten and Trunks go up to Lek after the tournament, and ask him how he managed to get so powerful, and if they can train with him a bit. Of course, Lek would be down to fight even more, and says that he thinks he can take Goten and Trunks on at once. The two Saiyans say he's on, and the three begin to go off and train together, which has us avoid the whole Mighty Mask debacle, and Mighty Mask is replaced by Android 17. Of course, the whole Majin Buu scenario is happening here too, and the Z fighters all go off to stop that, with 17 and 18 staying behind to continue fighting in the tournament. Of course, it would be a battle royale between 17, 18, and Mr. Satan, with the two siblings going at it themselves. 17 would be the clear winner here, as all of his training, and training with Lek, really helped him out to get the edge over his sister. I don't think 17 would care very much about Mr. Satan's reputation either, and just wants all of the money for himself. So, he knocks the former champion out of the ring without a second thought. 17 becomes a new champion, getting his prize money and says that he'll split it with his sister. Now he just needs to go and find Lek. And Lek are all training / playing together, Lek can sense something very bad going on in the distance that Gohan and the others went off in. He starts to worry. It starts to worry Lek even more when it seems that Goten's dad and Trunks' dad are fighting. The three then sense an even worse energy spike, Majin Buu being released. Goten and Trunks say that they want to go and see the genie, as that would be super cool, but Lek says that they should do more than watch, as right now, Gohan is being beaten badly by this genie. Goten begins to show some concern now, says they have to go and help, but Lek tells them all to come in closer to him. He has this ability he learned about recently, where he can teleport to people whose energies he can sense, so he's going to try it out here to get to this genie. Goten and Trunks grab onto Lek, and they instant transmission to Buu. Gohan is shocked to see them here, and Lek stares down Buu, wondering how much of a threat this Majin can actually be. Lek, Goten, and Trunks have teleported to meet the evil Majin Buu. Lek looks Buu up and down, and notices how much of a clown he is. This is just a big baby, what exactly is he gonna be able to do to somebody as perfect as him? Gohan tells Lek not to engage, as this being is much more powerful than him. Lek tells Gohan that he's the strongest human on the planet, he'll be able to defeat this fatso without breaking a sweat. At the mention of fatso, Buu gets pretty mad and sucker punches Lek right across the face. Lek goes flying away, and Goten and Trunks transform into Super Saiyans and rush Buu. The two work together to hold Buu off, but Buu is just way too powerful, and the two boys are thrown around like it's nothing. Gohan tries to get up to help, but Lek launches a special beam cannon right through Buu, and then kicks him into the ground. The three boys are very happy, as they think they've won, but Buu seals up the hole in his chest, and is even angrier now. Lek is confused, as he just shot right through him. This is very bad. Lek and the Saiyans fight it out with Buu, but it isn't any use, as Buu is just too powerful, and he grabs one of the boys and smacks him against the others, sending them into the ground. Dabura even tries to use the boy's distraction to kill Buu himself, but just like in canon, he's turned into a cookie and eaten up. This disgusts Lek, as this disgusting man-child who turns people into cookies is beating him around like he's nothing. Him, the perfect being. Gohan tells Lek to just stand down, and he needs to teleport them out of there. But Lek tells Gohan to shut up, as he can't be defeated this easily. Lek screams out, powering up greatly. Gohan is blown back by Lek's power. This looks very similar to the super perfect power that Cell had years ago. Gohan is pretty shocked, as he didn't think that Lek would be able to access a power like this anymore. But it turns out, once he gets angry enough, he still can. Super Lek launches Buu, and actually begins to get some damage in. Super Lek is very powerful, as this is pretty much the equivalent of a Super Saiyan transformation for him. It's not an insane 50 times multiplier, but right now, he's way above even Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Buu versus Super Lek is ramping up. And as they fight, a huge explosion is seen from Babidi's ship. Vegeta returns and glares at Babidi, pretty mad that his fight with Goku didn't go as planned. Babidi doesn't even have any protection, as Boo's being distracted by Lek, meaning Vegeta is able to kill Babidi, taking out the main bad guy right off the bat. Buu and Lek are still going at it, with Lek losing a lot of power fast, as he's fighting out of rage and not strategy. Vegeta and Gohan then come in and try to help, but Gohan is too weakened to help any, and is knocked out cold pretty fast. Lek is drained of power as well, since his kid body can't handle the full power of a super form for too long. Vegeta is the last man standing, and decides to do what he needs to do, in ending Buu himself with a sacrifice. Piccolo and Krillin take the kids and Gohan away, as Vegeta blows himself up in an effort to kill Buu. Of course, this unfortunately is for nothing, as Buu survives. But now, Buu can just go off and do whatever he wants, as Babidi's dead. Buu just goes off turning people into candy. And Piccolo and Krillin bring the others back to look out for Dende to heal them. Gohan is very angry that he wasn't able to stop Buu, and Piccolo tells him that it's not his fault. They're just going to need to train, and hope for the best it'll be enough to stop Buu for good. Lek, Goten, and Trunks are angry that they didn't do anything against Majin themselves. Luckily, they have a chance to redeem themselves once Goku makes his way back to the lookout. Goku tells everybody that he wouldn't really have a chance against Buu, but he does know a technique that could turn the tables against Buu. Fusion. Luckily, since Gohan is here this time, due to him being saved by Lek, he can practice fusion with Gohan, and they might be able to defeat Buu with this. Gohan is impressed with hearing that this technique may be able to help them, and they better work fast, as Buu is going around killing pretty much everybody right now. The two quickly head into the hyperbolic time chamber to go and practice fusion, while Lek, Goten, and Trunks wonder what they should do now. Piccolo says that Android 17 is insanely powerful, and he has infinite energy unlike everybody else, so he contacts him in 18 and tells him to come up to the lookout. Piccolo tells the androids that the evil Buu is going around the world right now, killing many people, and Goku and Gohan are currently training right now, so the only ones who can hold off Buu are the androids. 17 says he'll try his best to hold him off, and Lex says that he needs to go too, as he managed to do better than anybody before, and if he's working together with his father, then he may be able to actually get the win. 17 of course would allow his son to come along, since he'll make sure to protect him with his life, and since his kid is so powerful, they may have a chance of just holding him off. Goten and Trunks want to come along as well, but Lek tells them that they're just going to get in the way, and they should just stand back here and hope for the best. Lek uses his new instant transmission to bring him, 17 and 18, to Buu. These guys all power up and rush Buu to hold him off. Since Lek was healed by Dende, he's gotten a little bit stronger, since he still has some remnants of Saiyan cells, and he can get slight Zenkais. With this Zenkai, Lek tries to use his new super form, which he actually manages to get again, and he has a little bit more control under this form now, so he can help out his father and aunt a lot more with holding off Buu. Luckily, since the two Saiyans went to the time chamber, they had plenty of time to learn and perfect fusion, so they get out in around a half hour our time and make it to Buu. Goku thanks the androids for the help, and that him and Gohan will take it from here. Goku and Gohan then do the fusion dance, and fuse into Gohaku. It could be Gokan too, but most people say that would be the Batara version, so it's better to just flip it to Gohaku. Gohaku transforms into a Super Saiyan, and begins to beat the absolute crap out of Buu. Gohaku in his base form would be enough to stomp Fat Buu, so going Super Saiyan is just plain overkill at this point. Lek is amazed on how strong that this fighter is. He's even stronger than 17, or even him. That's very odd. He's supposed to be the perfect human, but this fusion has outclassed him by miles. Gohaku finishes off Buu with a Masenko Kamehameha, ending the terror of Majin. With the threat handled, Lek asks the fusion if he can be taught this as well, and he says that he'll have Gohan teach it to him afterwards. Group all meet up again, and the Dragon Balls are used to revive all those killed by Vegeta, except for Vegeta himself. Remember, he was revived in the Frieza saga by Shenron, so he's going to be staying dead here. This depresses Trunks, but Lek tries to comfort him, saying now he can train himself up to live up to his dad's legacy, by becoming even stronger than what Buu was. Gohan and Goten also get their share of sadness, once Goku has to head back into the afterlife. Goku says goodbye to Gohan, and that he could see what he managed to achieve while they were fused. And if he keeps up his training like that, then he'll be able to stop threats like Buu no matter what. Goku departs back into the afterlife, and things go back to how they were. Now, Goten and Trunks are more motivated to train, as they saw how powerful Lek has become, and how they didn't do anything against Buu, so they want to try as hard as they can to get more powerful. Gohan also has a drive to become stronger too, as he knows that there's a level above Super Saiyan 2 now, and he wants to try and achieve that to defend his planet. Of course, with Lek around and how powerful he is, Gohan knows he's going to have a good training partner. Android 17 is very proud of Lek for being the one to motivate all these people, and tells him that he should go and train with these guys whenever he wants. Lek, of course, wants to be the perfect being and get stronger himself, too. So, he trains with Gohan, Goten, and Trunks every so often. Of course, Gohan never got the ultimate form here, so while training with these boys, he's going to try to get another power, which he eventually does after a few years. Super Saiyan 3. Now, this would be a very difficult form for Gohan to get, but since he has so much potential and already saw what it looked like when he and Goku refused, he has the basic gist of how it works, and after training with somebody as powerful as Lek, he is able to get it. Goten and Trunks managed to get Super Saiyan 2 as well, with Lek perfecting his super form, which he himself is very impressed by. Lek in his super form and Gohan in Super Saiyan 3 are pretty much equal through training, with Lek growing at a much faster rate. So if Gohan isn't careful, Lek could totally leave him in the dust. Now some of you may be saying that Lek might be a little bit too overpowered here, but again, just think about it. Lek has the cells of the Saiyans and the Frieza race, and we know the Saiyans get insane boosts through power with training. And again, Frieza training for 4 months was able to get power that rivals Super Saiyan Blue. So Lek training with Super Saiyan 3 Gohan here is definitely going to get extremely powerful. 17 and Lek train themselves too, and since 17 is a very powerful partner, the two manage to get bigger gains. One day on the island, Lek also comes across something that really shocks him. A small little blue creature. The blue creature looks at Lek like he knows him. Lek looks right back at him, and senses something in this creature that reminds him of him. The creature runs away, and comes back with 5 others who look just like it. They all surround Lek, and pretty much all go in and hug him and cheer. Lek is mad confused, but he feels a slight connection with these guys. They kinda look like a buggy version of him. They really like him too. What's up with that? Lek goes off to tell 17, and the creatures follow him the whole way there. 17 is kinda surprised, as he completely forgot about the Cell Juniors. Lek asks 17 what they are, and why they seem to be obsessed with him, and 17 decides to finally break the ice on Lek's origins. 17 sits down with him, and tells him how he's the reincarnation of a bio-android named Cell, who was created by the evil Dr. Gero. Cell was a very bad guy, who wanted world domination, and he even created those Cell Juniors to kill the Z-Fighters. Luckily, Gohan managed to defeat Cell, and it seems the gods thought he deserved a second chance, so they cleaned up his soul and turned him into this pure little boy. Lek is of course blown away. He's the reincarnation of an evil bug guy? That's a lot to unpack. Lek of course needs to think about this, and 17 tells his son that he is literally nothing like Cell. As sure, he may look a little like him, have his powers, and is kinda vain about perfection, but he's the nicest kid he's ever met. And he even helped to save the world. He's a great person, and apparently these Cell Juniors are just happy to see him again, and they'll just do anything that he pleases. Lek looks at the Cell Juniors, and they're pretty much acting like dogs, with them following him around and loving him. Lek realizes it doesn't matter that he's the reincarnation of an evil bug guy. Everybody is probably reincarnation of somebody. And he knows that he isn't a bad guy at all. He's going to make this Cell's legacy a good one, by being the world's new hero. Lek has been training with Gohan, Goten, and Trunks for the past couple of years, getting stronger and stronger. Lek and Gohan have managed to get far above Fat Buu in terms of power, and with Gohan Super Saiyan 3, he's even over his ultimate form he had in canon. Lek is far above even that with all of his potential. He has perfected his super form, and with this form, he could easily whoop everybody around Earth right now. Goten and Trunks managed to master the Super Saiyan 2 form, but they realized they still weren't anywhere near Lek or Gohan. They've been trying to get that Super Saiyan 3 form like Gohan, but they still aren't strong enough to be able to get it. Luckily though, they've been practicing their fusion, as Gohan decided to teach it to them, that way they can get themselves even stronger. Gotenks is able to get Super Saiyan 3 pretty easily, and with this form, he's able to get on the level of Super Saiyan 3 Gohan. Gohan is still a little bit ahead, but if Gotenks keeps up training himself, he'll be able to reach that level. With the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks around, Gohan and Lek get even stronger. Once Lek introduces the Saiyans to the Cell Juniors, they're all terrified of Gohan because of what he did to them. Luckily though, Gohan is on their side now, and says that as long as they don't get any evil ideas, they'll be fine. The Cell Juniors have amazing potential just like Cell, and get even stronger. Though since they are still small, they don't have the extreme potential of Cell. After all this training with our heroes, we finally move into Battle of Gods. Beerus goes to King Kai's planet as normal, and meets both Goku and Vegeta. I got a few comments saying that Vegeta would have been revived with the Namekian Dragon Balls, but I don't think he would want that exactly. He just wants to train and get stronger, and now that he's dead, and that Goku is there too, he finally has a chance to. Goku convinced King Yama for Vegeta to keep his body, and they've been training together ever since, with Vegeta himself managing to get Super Saiyan 3. Of course, even with 2 Super Saiyan 3s, they're not able to do anything against Beerus, and Beerus goes off to Earth to see if the Saiyans that are alive can do anything. Once Beerus shows up to Bulma's party, things go pretty smoothly, as there is no Buu to really anger Beerus with the pudding. So the Z-Fighters don't have to fight Beerus. And it's a lot more of a peaceful discussion. Gohan suggests gathering the Dragon Balls and asking Shenron for advice, which is exactly what happens, and the information on the Super Saiyan God is given out. Unfortunately, they really don't have enough Saiyans now, as they need 6 and only have 3. Videl reveals to Gohan that she's pregnant, so maybe this will help. And while it is amazing news, that only leaves them with 4 potential Saiyans. Beerus says he doesn't like to do this much, but he'll be able to get those 2 more Saiyans. Whis summons Goku and Vegeta from Otherworld, and revives them. The 2 are completely shocked as, wait, they're back to life? Without the Dragon Balls? Gohan and the others run over to their parents, so happy to see them again, and happy that they've been returned to life, for good this time. Beerus tells them they can save the tearful reunion for later, and all he wants now is to fight the Super Saiyan God. If they're not able to give that to him, then he'll just kill these 2 again himself. The group think of who to give the God form to, and while Goku would love to get this form, he realizes that the strength of Gohan far exceeds his, and the one to be able to get this form should be Gohan. Gohan decides that he might as well, since he will be the best match against Beerus. The God Ritual is performed, and Gohan is given the Super Saiyan God transformation. Gohan has gotten a massive power boost, and this God form of his is much stronger than the one that Goku got in canon. The battle between Beerus would be a great fight, and Beerus would get a much better battle between Gohan compared to Goku, and the arc would end with Beerus still defeating Gohan, but sparing the planet. After this fight, the group gets used to Goku and Vegeta returning, with Trunks and Goten showing off their new fusion and training with their dads. Of course, Goku finally gets to really train with Lek, as he's been wanting to see how powerful Cell can be as a human, and he trains really hard with him. Even with Goku using the Super Saiyan 3 form, Lek is far too powerful in his own super form, and Goku isn't even on his level. This excites Goku, of course, and he trains with Lek and the Cell Juniors to get stronger and stronger, eventually fully mastering Super Saiyan 3 through this training. Of course, Goku and Vegeta do eventually go off-world to train with Beerus and Whis, and Gohan is offered to go too, but he decides to stay on Earth, as he has a job, a wife, and a kid. Lek continues training with Goten and Trunks though on 17's island, and during this time while they're training, they get notified about Frieza's resurrection. Bulma decided to let them all know, as she knows how powerful a kid and his friends have become after these years, and they should be able to be a big help against Frieza and his men. Lek asks 17 if he's going to come along as well, but 17 says he needs to stay behind and protect the island, so he's not going to be going. Lek instant transmissions to Kid and the Juniors over to where Frieza is, and they all get involved in fighting off the soldiers. With the kids here and a lot of Cell Juniors, the soldiers are all taken out in a much faster time than usual. Gohan is the one who goes up to Frieza to try and take him on, and in his base he isn't able to do much surprisingly, and he has to use Super Saiyan 3 to face off. Frieza battling Gohan is a big fight, and the 2 actually being equal somewhat. He is of course at full power in his final form, and still having trouble against the Super Saiyan 3, but he doesn't want to go into his golden form yet, as he's been saving that for Goku. Gohan isn't using God either, as he's kind of been slacking off from training once Goku returned, and while he still has some God Ki, it's not enough to be able to access God again. Super Saiyan 3 is unfortunately all he has right now. Lek can see that Gohan is beginning to lose ground, and he's too weak to face off against Frieza the way he is now, so he goes up to face Frieza himself. Gohan asks what Lek is doing, and Lek says that he's the strongest human here right now, and he'll be able to defeat Frieza all by himself. After all, in a past life, he was part Frieza, right? It would be nice to face off with somebody who used to be part of him. Lek transforms into his super form and begins battling it out with Frieza, surprising the Emperor that this child is even stronger than that Saiyan, and he's actually beating him. This is ridiculous. This kid can't be human. Lek is getting pretty cocky, as this guy was pretty much all talk, and is nothing compared to the perfect human being. Frieza gets very angry now, and isn't going to be taking these insults anymore. Frieza then powers up into his golden form, surprising everybody. Lek is very shocked at this. Frieza can get this power as well? He can make himself golden too? Frieza's confused at this. Wait, this kid doesn't look scared at all. Looks like he's actually just figured out something. Whatever, he's going to be teaching this kid a lesson. Golden Frieza and Lek battle it out, with Frieza having the clear advantage right off the bat.
as his golden form boosted his strength into the level of the gods. Lek is still smiling through this and says that Frieza isn't the only one who is able to get a golden form. Hearing this scares Frieza beyond belief, as like, no, there's no way. Lek says yes way, and powers up, having a golden aura surround him, and he unleashes it all out, having his hair turn a pure golden color. We now have Super Golden Lek. Of course, Lek may be a human now, but he does still have the cells of other fighters, so he of course still has Frieza cells in him. Due to Lek training for so long, he discovered this form in the gap between Buu and the Battle of Gods after training with the Saiyans. He thought that this form was his version of a Super Saiyan at first, but he realized that that couldn't be the case, as that is supposed to be his super form. He always wondered what it was, but now that he can see Frieza as his form as well, he finally realized its origins. He never showed it off to anybody else, since he knew that if he used it, then everybody else would have been beaten in no time, and they would stand no chance. This isn't just a normal golden form too, as Lek transforms into this form while he's already in his super form, which combines these two forms together. This boosts his powers to way over Frieza's, and Frieza is beaten down badly. And even when Frieza manages to land a hit on Lek, it doesn't do anything at all, and it feels like a fly just landed on him. Frieza is kicked around the curb and eventually completely obliterated by Lek, leaving him as the victor. Lek reverts to normal and is very happy with himself. He actually managed to defeat a villain and save the planet. He is the true hero of Earth that he promised he would be. Gohan and the others were just blown away by this power and insanely impressed with him. He managed to kill Frieza in no time flat at all. Gohan is kind of embarrassed too, as after all this time, he was shown up by Lek, and he got a brand new transformation. Well, he managed to lose one. He's going to have to start training with Lek again to actually be able to defend everybody in case a threat like this happens again. Goku and Vegeta had no need to come to Earth to stop Frieza, as Lek was able to handle it. So they stayed with Beerus, honing in their blue forms more and more. Champa would still come to visit them and bring up the idea for the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament. Of course, there are plenty of strong fighters besides Goku and Vegeta around, and Goku knows the first person he is going to ask for help. Lek is contacted immediately about the tournament, and of course he's going to say yes, as he hasn't fought in a tournament in a long while, and it should be really fun. Goten and Trunks are of course with Lek once he is asked, and ask if they can come along as well. Goku and Vegeta are a little worried about letting them join, since they aren't exactly the strongest around. But the two suggest that they fuse together and fight as one being in a tournament, that way they don't have to take up 2 slots. The two don't know if it's against the rules, but it should still count as a fighter, so why not? He just needs to be able to fuse right before the tournament begins. The two are very excited that they're being included, as they finally get to really help out for something. They have 3 days to prepare, so Lek decides to train them extremely hard by practicing on them in his golden form. Goku and Vegeta go to contact Gohan, and while Gohan is reluctant at first, as he has a conference coming up, he finds out Lek is on the team, and realizes he'll probably get stronger and stronger in this tournament as well, and he can't have that. He is still embarrassed enough since Frieza, so maybe he'll participate after all. Gohan says he's going to need to get back into shape though, and asks to tag along with Goku and Vegeta in the time chamber. Which of course would make Goku very happy, as he hasn't really trained with his son in a very long time. Bulma would send in extra food to the boys so they can train there for 3 years. And again, 3 years is an awfully long time, so during this training, I'm going to say that Gohan would regain access to his God form, and even exceed that into Super Saiyan Blue. We now have a nice and powerful team ahead of us. Though, even with Gohan's blue form, Super Golden Lek is growing at a very fast rate, and is currently the strongest on the team. Finally, the group all head off to fight in the tournament. The group don't do rock, paper, scissors for who will fight this time, as the clear person who needs to go first is Gotenks, as he's the only one of them with a time limit. Gotenks faces off against Botamo, and the fusion has trouble against Botamo's extremely rubbery body that keeps knocking him back. Though, he just uses the Galactic Donuts to trap Botamo, and once these are all wrapped around him, Gotenks rushes at Botamo and pushes him out of the ring, winning his match. Next in comes Frost, with Gotenks wanting to show off to Lek, by showing that they can defeat Frieza as well. Gotenks transforms into his Super Saiyan form to battle it out with Frost, and Gotenks has the clear advantage. He isn't playing around as Frost, he's dealing long combos and heavy hits to really push him around. Gotenks is still very cocky though and ends up being hit by the Poison Needle, being knocked out and disqualified. Everybody is very confused on what happened, but the next to step in would be Gohan to avenge Gotenks. Gohan fights with Frost, very cautious as there's no way he was able to take out a Super Saiyan fusion with just one blow, in the base form that he's in right now. Gohan uses Super Saiyan as well, and eventually sees what took Gotenks out, the Poison Needle. Gohan grabs Frost's arm and lifts it high up for everybody to see, revealing the needle. meaning that Frost is finally disqualified. Before Gotenks can continue his fight though, him being knocked out disturbed the fusion, so they defused a lot faster than they were supposed to, which disqualifies them as well. Gohan continues his fighting though. Gohan is up next against Vegeta, and Vegeta proves to be a hard battle, as he is very durable and not going to be taken down easily. Gohan is getting annoyed at this, and even uses Super Saiyan 3 and try and push Vegeta around, but even that's not working. Gohan would get very annoyed by not being able to do anything, and would eventually say an insult in his last moments of the battle. Surprisingly, this is what worked, and Vegeta is knocked out just by that. Gohan didn't expect that to happen, but hey, it worked, so there we go. Kaba is the next warrior to fight, and Gohan actually feels bad for the kid that he can't go Super Saiyan. And he would try to coach him along on how to get there during this fight. Of course, I don't think Kaba would be able to get it during this fight, since there's no way that Gohan is going to be as ruthless as Vegeta against this random guy. But at least now Kaba knows what to do to access the transformation. Finally, the last opponent enters the arena, the assassin, Hit. Gohan can sense that Hit is far above the rest of the combatants here, and transforms to his god form to see what he can do like this. Hit is able to easily knock Gohan around using his time skip, and Gohan has no idea what is happening. He turns into blue and tries and blast Hit back with his power. It kinda works, and Gohan is able to at least break out of some of the time skip, though it's not quite enough, and he's still very tired from being beaten around in God. Gohan is eventually bested by Hit, and knocked out. Goku is very saddened, as Gohan is stronger than even he was, and he didn't know what to do against this guy, which isn't the best news. Lex says he knows what's going on here, and can be the next best match. Goku is confused, as he didn't see what Hit was doing at all, but Lek did? What's he going to do? Lek enters the ring, transforms into his super form, and then unleashes copies of himself with the multiform. All of the Lek clones launch Hit, and one is smacked right in the face, suddenly going flying out of the arena. The others go in as well, and are all eventually knocked away. Luckily, none of these were the real Lek, and he is able to go back, as he sees exactly what is happening now. Somehow, this dude is moving so fast it's like he's skipping time itself to catch up with him. He understands now, and says to beat this guy, he's going to have to move faster than even time itself. Lek roars and unleashes his Super Golden Transformation, which actually makes Hit pretty nervous. This isn't just any ordinary power like those Saiyans, this is something much different and much more dangerous. Super Golden Lek fires multiple death beams at Hit, which he's able to dodge, though once he does, Lek instant transmissions behind him, and Dynamite kicks him right in the side of the head, sending him flying in the opposite direction. Lek fires a Kamehameha at him, which he manages to narrowly avoid by time skipping. But again, narrowly, so Lek is able to rush up very fast and continue his assault. Lek is far too powerful now, and able to best Hit on pretty much every aspect of the fight. Hit's time skip doesn't matter anymore either, since Lek is so far above him in terms of power that the time skip is cancelled out completely. Hit is defeated very quickly by Lek, and the tournament is won. Goku and Vegeta are very disappointed that they didn't get to go in and fight at all, though Goku is very happy that the next generation is able to win this tournament all by themselves, which is something he wanted them to do. Gohan is impressed with Lek's fighting, and isn't embarrassed this time at all, since he really did try his best, and he only lost since this guy had a move he knew nothing about. The Universe 6 Earth is restored as normal, and Universe 7 team returns back to Earth to continue training for the next battle. Now, before we wrap this up, we all know what the next arc is, it's the Goku Black Arc. Now, obviously, Zamasu never saw Goku fight at all in this tournament, so he's not going to be taking his body. Though there are two people in this tournament he is contemplating taking the bodies of, Gohan or Lek.
Zamasu has taken the same route as Goku Black did in canon, with the only change being that he's taken Gohan's body instead. Since he's taken Gohan's body, he's going to be a lot stronger than Goku Black would be. Since Gohan has amazing potential, he wouldn't be leagues ahead of Goku Black, but a considerable feat of strength above him. Gohan Black also has an effect on our boy from the future, Trunks. Trunks is completely horrified over seeing what looks like his old master killing humanity, and destroying everything that he himself fought to protect. Gohan Black knows that Trunks is very emotional in fighting him, which Black exploits to get himself even more powerful, as Trunks strikes him a lot harder in his rage and confusion on what he did to Gohan. So unfortunately, Black would get even stronger due to these Zenkais. He still plays around with Trunks as normal, and Trunks heads back into the past to warn the other Z-Fighters of what is going on. Trunks wouldn't attack Goku when he wakes up, as he has no need to, but is genuinely confused on seeing this kid standing next to his past self. He's not an ordinary child, as he can sense a familiar ki coming from him. Who exactly is he? Black is confused himself when seeing an adult version of Trunks in front of him, but also gets some deja vu. Goku explains that this kid is the reincarnation of Cell, as he wished for it to happen when Gohan managed to kill him, and now this kid is here with them now. Trunks is in complete shock, as he had no idea that reincarnation was possible. If he knew that bad guys could be reincarnated as good, he would have wished for that to happen to his Cell, or even the androids. They could have been a huge help against Black in the future. Goku tells him not to worry about that, as they had no idea it would work either, as it was just a split-second thought that just happened to work. Maybe once they take out this Gohan Black guy, they can see if they can get him reincarnated into a good guy as well. They just need to figure out who exactly he is first, and if he's really Gohan. As they were all wondering what to do, Black arrives to the past with his time ring as normal to meet up with the other Z fighters, and challenge them to a fight. Goku steps up to face his pseudo-son, as he did with Goku Black originally, and while in canon he could somewhat put up a fight, he can't do much the way he is now, as Black has gotten a lot stronger. Poor Goku gets the crap kicked out of him by Gohan Black. Luckily, our Gohan was called once Trunks arrived in the past, and he is able to step in and knock Black away from his dad. Gohan stares in horror at this evil version of himself looking back at him. This is clearly him, but the ki is different from his own, so is it him? He doesn't know, but yells out to Black, trying to force him to give up his identity. Before Black is able to do so though, the time ring begins to pull him back into the future. Just like in canon, he quickly destroys the time machine though, and he is sucked back into the wormhole. Once they get Goku all healed up, Gohan meets with Trunks again, and Trunks is very happy to see a Gohan he knows, and not one that is on a murderous rampage. Gohan can tell that whoever that wasn't him at all, and it must be some sort of imposter. That ki wasn't his own, and didn't feel very familiar at all. After all, Future Trunks and Kid Trunks both have the same ki, it's just that one is stronger than the other. But these two Gohans are completely different in their keys, so one can't be a future version of the other. Luckily, after Time Machine was destroyed, Bulma managed to rework Cell's time machine, be able to travel through time again. And Lek thinks it's very weird how his past self wasn't even from this timeline, and came from an alternate one. He wonders what exactly happened in that other timeline, and if there's anybody who's even left there. The group begin to do some training, with Vegeta and Gotenks training with Trunks and try to get his power boosted more and more, so he can be more of a match against Black. Gohan wants to go to the future as well to face off against his evil self, but he knows he's going to need to get stronger and stronger if he wants to stand a chance. Luckily, Lek has nothing else to do, and says it'll be fun to train with Gohan again. And if the two train with all they have, and really let each other have it, then they'll get gigantic gains in power. Gohan's 100% down to turn to Lek some more, as he's the strongest fighter that they have with them, and if he trains them some more, then he might reach his level. To do it as fast as possible, they're going to need even rougher conditions, the hyperbolic time chamber. Sure, Gohan is already in there for 3 years with Goku and Vegeta, but it wouldn't hurt to stay in there for a couple of months more with Lek to get his powers up even further. The two would enter the chamber and begin hardcore training so Gohan can get on the level of Black. Goku and the gods go on their same journey to the presence of Zamasu, and after that investigation, he is killed, and the group decide to go back to the future to see if that helped in any way. Who's going to be heading into the future though? Well, Trunks obviously, and Gohan too so he can face off against himself, but what about Goku and Vegeta? Goku and Vegeta didn't do anything except train in the last arc, as they never got to even fight in a tournament, so they don't want to come along and actually do something now to see if they're strong enough to actually face somebody. Goku and Vegeta come along, which fills up the time machine a lot so it's very cramped, but they can still barely fit in all of them. Lek, Goten, and Trunks are going to be coming along since they can't fit, and they have to stay behind here just in case anything happens to these guys. The group all head into the future and go to encounter Gohan Black. Gohan wants to go ahead and fight against Black first, and instantly powers up to his Super Saiyan Blue form, and wails on the false Gohan with everything he has. Black isn't really fighting back, as he's just enjoying the show right now, and is trying to get himself stronger. After Gohan keeps fighting Black in his blue form, Black is able to get more and more godly experience, which allows him to transform himself into his Super Saiyan Rose. This power is an amazing increase, and Gohan is thankful that he actually is able to train with Lek more, and be able to not be taken out in one hit by Black. The two are pretty evenly matched, with not one side having a clear advantage. Black is fighting more with killing intent, while Gohan isn't, and just wants to knock him out and figure out how exactly Black got his body. Eventually, Future Zamasu is getting tired of watching this fight, as Black is losing energy fast. So, he steps in, knocking Gohan away, and he heals Black back to full health. Goku and the others are terrified, as they thought Zamasu had been killed. But no, there is a future version of him still out there. Gohan isn't going to be able to take on these two by himself, so it's time for the others to finally step in and help. Goku goes to help Gohan against Black, while Vegeta and Trunks go after Zamasu, trying their best to keep the two away from each other as much as possible. They can't afford for Black to get another Zenkai, as it's hard enough for even Goku and Gohan to take him by himself. Vegeta and Trunks obviously work very well together against Zamasu, and find out he is immortal very fast. But this isn't much of an issue, as Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta would be more than enough for Zamasu. And with a Super Saiyan 2 Trunks there as well, it's very easily to beat him down. Gohan is weakened from his fight with Black, but luckily he has his dad there to help him in this battle. And even though it's very hard since Black got healed, Goku and Gohan have amazing teamwork and can hold him back enough to have him get frustrated. Plus, if it gets too bad, Goku can just unleash the Kaioken to ruin Black even more. Which is something I don't understand why he didn't do in canon, but whatever, he has it here. Black and Zamasu have no chance against these fighters, and have to resort to drastic measures right away, and stop these mortals once and for all. Black instant transmissions to Zamasu, blindsiding Vegeta and Trunks by blasting them in the face, and instant transmissions away again. The fighters reunite and wonder where the two went, and if it just ran away to heal up, which wouldn't be good at all, as if Black is healed once again, they won't be able to stop him. Unfortunately though, something much worse happens. A gigantic beam of light is shown miles away, and suddenly, Merged Zamasu appears in front of our fighters. They really wish they destroyed the Potara they were wearing earlier. They all rush up and try to do something against Merged Zamasu, but this isn't going to be happening. And they are all knocked away with one blow. They revert back to their bases, and Zamasu laughs as he prepares to fire a Kamehameha at them to wipe them all off the face of the earth. He's killed everybody else on this planet, and he's now going to kill its final saviors. This speech enrages Trunks greatly, as he is sick of all this justice talk and how mortals don't matter. Zamasu is using the body of Earth's greatest hero to kill everybody, and is calling it justice. He is sick of this, and erupts in an enraged state, which triggers the Super Saiyan Rage transformation. Trunks rushes Zamasu in his new form, and while it is a new form, he isn't able to do much, as this fusion is still leagues ahead of him. With Trunks distracting him, Goku knows that they will need a fusion of their own to be able to actually win this, and he takes Gohan instant transmissions away. Vegeta transforms into his god form, as that's all he can achieve with where he is with power now, and he tries to help out his son. Vegeta and Trunks only last for about a minute though, and are easily taken out of both of their transformations and are about to be killed. Though, Gohaku returns once more with a swift kick to Zamasu's head, sending him flying away. Zamasu is shocked by this. Another fusion? One without any Potara? How is that possible? Luckily, Goku and Gohan mastered the fusion dance together years ago, so they're able to use it now in no time. That way, it can be fusion versus fusion. Gohaku becomes a Super Saiyan Blue and begins to battle it out with Merged Zamasu. The clash is intense, with Zamasu mainly trying to slice and dice Gohaku up, but Gohaku strikes gigantic blows to all of Zamasu's vitals, similar to what Gogeta did against Broly. Also similar to that movie is Gohaku not defusing right away. Sure, they're using a lot of power in Blue, but Gogeta was as well, and didn't defuse as fast as Vegito did, whose fused for barely 5 minutes. So I think the dance is able to make your fusion last a little longer with all of its power. It'll still be a lot shorter than a full half hour, but it's not the stupid 5 minutes like what happened with Vegito. Gohaku is able to outlast Zamasu's fusion time, as yes, I am using the fusion time limit like in the manga, since that just makes a lot more sense to me. Gohan Black and Zamasu's cells, of course, try to stick together as they are one and the same, but Gohaku isn't going to let them refuse into a monster, and he fires them a Sanko Kamehameha to 2, disintegrating them completely, leaving no room for any clones to come about. Gohan Black has been evaporated completely, but Zamasu's body attempts to put itself back together again, and Gohaku isn't going to let that happen either. He takes a cue from Gotenks and uses the Galactic Donuts to form the Boo Boo Volleyball around Zamasu, trapping him in it and not letting him escape. Luckily, Gohaku is leagues ahead of Zamasu, so no matter what, Zamasu is not going to be able to break free out of this one. Gohaku then takes a knocked out Vegeta and Trunks, heads back in the time machine, and returns to the present. Once back in the present, Gohaku instant transmissions to Roshi, and asks him if it would be possible to use the Mafuba on Zamasu, that way he can be sealed away forever. Roshi is very confused by this fusion showing up, since he has no idea who this is. But Gohaku reveals his identity and says they need to seal him away now. Roshi agrees eventually, and unleashes the Mafuba in a jar to seal away Zamasu. Gohaku thanks Roshi for the help, and just as he thanks him, he defuses. Goku takes a jar from Roshi and then goes back to Whis to see if he can dispose of him properly. Whis also heals Vegeta and Trunks. They are happy to learn that the day was saved. Lek is happy that the training Gohan did actually managed to do something, and he has redeemed himself from Frieza and Hit. Even though he had to fuse, he still managed to save the future. Everybody is healed, and there's only one question that everybody has to ask now. What about Trunks? What will he do now? All of humanity on his Earth is gone. Even future Mai is gone. So if Trunks goes back to the future, he'll be the only one left. His mom, his girl, all of his friends are gone. Where's he going to go now? Lek feels bad for Trunks though, and tells him that maybe there is another future he can go to. There is a future that his past self came from, where the only one who died was Trunks, so if he goes back there, then he should have all of his friends, and they'll have him back too. Trunks thinks that's an excellent idea, and the time machine they've been using did used to belong to Cell, so all they have to do is just put the coordinates in for Cell's timeline, and he'll be able to head back. That's exactly what they do, and Trunks is all set to go back to another future, where hopefully things are much brighter. Trunks thanks everybody for all of their help in fighting off Zamasu, and he departs. We last left off with the end of the Gohan Black Arc, with Trunks' timeline not being destroyed, but him going off to a better timeline anyways. All of our heroes have gotten a lot stronger and have continued their training. The whole Gohan Black situation made Gohan way more motivated to train than before, as even though he technically won against him, it was his fusion who got him in the end. So he needs to keep up his training to prevent a threat like that from harming his family. He does that by training with Lek and Gotenks just like old times. These three used to train a lot, and he knows that they're not going to be holding back. Plus, having two extremely powerful fighters going at him all at once is obviously the best way to get reactions down and faster muscle movement. Even though Lek is the strongest on Earth, Gohan is a close second, so he gets a lot of good benefit through training with Gohan. Though, to him it still doesn't feel all there. He is still the strongest, and no matter what, he doesn't know if Gohan will ever surpass him. He's glad there are so many strong people around, but he wants a good challenge now. He wants to feel like how he did in the Universe 6 tournament. Challenged. The only time he's ever really felt challenged in his life was with Majin Buu, but that was different as it was for the fate of the world. He wants something like with Hit, where he could feel challenged, but in a tournament setting. For some reason, he really likes tournaments. He remembers when that Zeno guy showed up and suggested the idea for a multiversal tournament. Something like that just sounds so good to him. He can test his skills in a different kind of setting without putting the Earth or the universe in danger. He remembers Beerus telling the others to never mess with that guy, but he didn't seem like much when he saw him last. His guards were intimidating, but he's sure that they're all just looks. He's the most perfect being in the universe. He could find a way to take them on. Lek has no idea how to contact this guy, or even find him for that matter, so he's going to take matters into his own hands. One day, while training with Gotenks at Capsule Corp, Lek snatches the Dragon Radar to use and find the Dragon Balls. He goes out and gathers them all pretty quickly, summoning Shenron and asking if there's a way to be teleported to where the Omni King is. Shenron would of course sweat very hard at this wish, since he doesn't want to be destroyed if he makes it, asking if there's any other wish that Lek would like granted instead. Lek isn't really in a gaming mood, since he doesn't want Beerus to find him out, and says that that's the wish he wants to make. Shenron sweats some more and says it's his funeral, and he sends him to Zeno. Lek appears in front of Zeno's palace, where he meets with the Grand Priest. Lek politely introduces himself to the priest and requests a meeting with the Lord of Everything. Zeno is already coming up, saying hi to Lek, and that he remembers how cool he was during the World Tournament. Is he here to show off some moves like before? Lek says he's actually here to suggest that multiversal tournament that he mentioned before, and that he would love to compete. Zeno says that would be a fantastic idea, and thanks Lek for reminding him. Zeno says they can get on it right away, and Lek is surprised that he agreed so quickly. The Grand Priest gives the time frame of it starting in about 40 hours, and Lek pretty much has a heart attack. That soon? The others are going to be so mad at him. That's pretty much zero time to prepare. Grand Priest then calls all of the Guards of Destruction, Angels, and Supreme Kais from the other universes, informing them all of the tournament. Goku is here as well, since he was training with Beerus and Whis at the time, so he just figured he'd tag along, cause why not? Beerus is glaring daggers at Lek, who is trying very hard not to make eye contact with him. The biggest shocker to everybody is the fact that all of the losing universes are going to be destroyed. Lek is even more shocked to hear this. He's completely messed this all up. First he gives everybody no time to prepare, and now if they lose, it's the end of everything. What has he done? There's no need for an exhibition match, due to there not being a future Zeno, so the Grand Priest just sends everybody back to their own universe to prepare. Lek returns with Beerus, Whis, and Goku, and as soon as they get back, Beerus smacks Lek across the head, asking him what he was thinking. He's doomed them all. Lek doesn't just shrug off the whole ramifications of the incident like Goku did. Lek is completely crushed. He didn't think before he acted, and now everything that he's fought so hard for, his family, his friends, his reputation, all of that, is now gone. He promised them all he would be their new hero, and here he is bringing their destruction instead. He's no better than Cell. He begins to cry and says that he's really sorry. He didn't mean for things to turn out this way. Goku goes over to Lek and comforts him, saying that he knows how it feels to want a good fight. To be honest, he's been wanting a good fight too, and would have gone to Zeno and asked the same exact thing. If Lek didn't do it, he would have. And he heard Zeno. If he didn't ask at all, the universe would be destroyed without a chance for them to even fight for it. Luckily, Lek gave them all a fighting chance, so they shouldn't waste that chance and train hard to be able to save everybody. Lek wipes away his tears, thanking Goku for the kind words. That's really what he needed to hear. Goku instant transmissions Lek and him back to Earth, and Goku breaks the news to them about the Tournament of Power and how they all need to prepare. The recruitment arc will play out much faster, as Lek tells everybody what he did, and how sorry he is at forcing this upon everybody. But luckily they forgive him. 17 says it was a very stupid thing he did, though now he knows that he can't do things like that again. This will be a very good learning opportunity. Plus, it's a chance to see his kid in action. He doesn't want to leave his island to fight, but luckily the Cell Jr. tells 17 that they'll stay behind to help defend the island. All except one of them, though. A Cell Jr. is pretty much as strong as the original Perfect Cell, since they've been training with Lek for a long period of time. So if they have at least one of them participate, that'll make the odds much better for all of them. Lek and 17 agree and bring back a Cell Jr. to join in. Goten and Trunks would replace Roshi and Tien this time, since they've already fought in a tournament before, and have gotten so much stronger since then. Krillin wouldn't really want to fight either, since he sees himself as way too weak, and says that the Cell Jr. can take his place. 18 says that if Krillin's not fighting, she doesn't want to either. But Krillin tells her that she has to for the sake of the universe, and he'll be here when she gets back. She reluctantly agrees and joins in on the team. Our team is formed pretty fast, and our whole Universe 7 team consists of Lek, Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, Goten, Trunks, 17-18, Piccolo, and Cell Jr. With the team formed and a few hours of more training done, it's finally time for the group to go off to the tournament. The tournament begins with all of the gods and the contestants staring at Lek with nothing but malice. The worst part is, Lek knows in order for him to survive, all these guys are going to die. The fact that he caused all of this is very distracting to him, and Gohan and Cell Jr. have to stick close to him and make sure that he doesn't get knocked out right away. He seems so broken. Ross tries to go after Goten and Trunks, saying that the two of them individually have no chance against somebody like him. But they've been training very hard since their last fight with him, and are able to match well when they work together without fusion. Since Frieza isn't here, Frost is manipulated into knocking out all the others, so he's only going to focus on those that he doesn't exactly like. Goku and Vegeta both take out the trio to dangers, and continue on fighting off the other fodder. Goku wants to face off against Jiren, though he can tell that he still isn't strong enough to do so. He's not too much weaker than he is in canon, but still by a sizable amount. He can't beat him alone, so he's going to wait for the others to be done with their own fights before he can face Jiren. Goku goes off to fight the other Pride Troopers instead, while Lek is able to fight off all the other fodder that goes near him. But for the most part, he's not really feeling up to it. He feels really bad about all of these fighters having to die for him, but Gohan lets him know of something really important. If they manage to win this thing, then they get a wish on the Super Dragon Balls, right? Well, if Lek really wants to redeem himself, then he needs to win this thing and use the Dragon Balls to bring everybody back. Lek asks Gohan if he thinks that's allowed, and he says, why wouldn't it be? Now, he just needs to go out there and win this thing. Lek smiles, as knowing this gives him back his fighting motivation he needs. Lek brushes the other fighters, managing to knock out a lot of the fodder fighters, and those who make up on Elaza. The ones he actually has to stop the fight though are Universe 6 Saiyans, who manage to get to Super Saiyan form, and curious to see what Lek can do. Since he isn't a Saiyan, but can still transform into something that resembles a Super Saiyan, it's quite odd to them. Lek is able to best Kaba and Caulifla, with pretty much no difficulty, since they don't really know how to control their powers yet. The one who has a surprisingly rough time with this is Kale, as even without her own Super Saiyan form, she is still a handful. She's getting mad at him hurting Caulifla, and he can tell that she's just like him, learning as she fights. He's gotta end this fast. The harder he strikes though, the more angry she becomes, and this eventually leads to her Berserker evolution. Lek tries to hold off Kale, and she's the only one so far to give him an actual challenge. He's doing his best, and is doing a much better job than anybody else did in canon, though it's not easy. She's blasting all throughout the ring, and is pushing Lek back a lot. He may not be being injured, though being pushed back and not be able to touch them isn't going to help him. Lek has to not use his raw strength, but all of the techniques he's learned to pin her down. Lek fires off 4 galactic donuts at Kale's arms and legs, and while she can't move her limbs for a second, Lek fires off a solar flare to blind her and distract her even more. With Kale blinded, he grabs her and instant transmissions her right next to an opponent falling out of the ring, and instant transmissions back to the ring as she falls out. Kale is eliminated and reverted back to regular form by Zeno. Caulifla and Kaba are infuriated over their trump card, so they rush Lek themselves and are pushed out right away. Yeah, Lek is able to prevent Kale's wrath and Kefla herself from showing up. He is fully up for defeating the fighters, since he knows that they'll be coming back now. He can't hold back anymore. If he doesn't give this his all, then everybody in the multiverse is doomed. It's time for him to finally become the perfect being and save the multiverse.
tournament has really been ramping up with the defeat of Kale, and the only main opponents left are the Pride Troopers from Universe 11. These three are in a whole other league from the rest, and the others need to be careful. Goku can't unleash Ultra Instinct here right away, so the others need to find a way to weaken the group. Goten and Trunks fuse together into Gotenks and rush Dispo, hoping to be able to hold him off so the adults can go for the bigger threats. The Cell Jr. makes sure to join Gotenks, and together the two kids are able to easily hold him off and even match his speed. Gohan, 17, and Lek go after Toppo. Since he's still very strong, if all of them go after him together, they should be able to easily take him on. Finally, Goku and Vegeta go after Jiren to try and eliminate him. Goku and Vegeta obviously have the worst time trying to get Jiren, as he is way too powerful for even both of them working together, and they are kicking to the curb. Thankfully, Gohan, Lek, and 17 manage to easily deal with Toppo and give him a ring out, so they can come in to help Goku and Vegeta. Even with these powerhouses coming in, Jiren is not phased and can slam them all right into each other to deal with them as well. Once Dispo's taken care of, Gotenks and Cell Jr. go to trap him with a Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, but Jiren just blitzes through it and knocks them both out of the arena, eliminating them. Lek screams out, but it's too late, as his friends are gone. Lek battles Jiren to a standstill, with Lek surprised on how he's not able to do anything here. Jiren is tanking all of his blows and retaliating with stronger ones than his own. Someone who is more powerful than the perfect being? That's insane. He keeps trying to push him back in anyway, but Jiren is just too much and Lek is blown back. Lek doesn't know what else he can do to continue this fight. That is until Goku tells him to follow him, as he has a plan. Lek and Goku jump into the air, and Goku asks Lek if he knows the Spirit Bomb. Lek says that if Cell knew how to do it, then he definitely will too, and says he'll help in any way that he can. Goku and Lek put their hands up to begin gathering energy, and the others distract Jiren while the energy is gathered. Jiren grabs Gohan and slams him into Vegeta, sending Vegeta flying out of the ring, and Gohan is thrown into some nearby rubble. 17 summons a shield around Jiren to trap him, but Jiren's scream alone breaks the barrier, and he kicks 17 away into the rubble as well. Jiren goes to destroy the Spirit Bomb, but it's too late, and Goku and Lek throw it down towards him. Jiren tries to hold it back with just his glare, but since Lek is added to the mix this time, it's gonna be a harder bomb to hold back. Lek and Goku give it their all to hold the bomb down, but in the end, Jiren is able to power up some more and throw it back towards the two. The two are too shocked at it being thrown back that they don't have any time to move out of the way, and it hits them dead on and explodes. 17 looks up in horror as he sees his son be enveloped by the Spirit Bomb and destroyed. 17 explodes in anger, rushing Jiren and catching him off guard. 17's rage boost pushes Jiren back a little as he screams at him that he's gonna pay for killing his son. 17 lets out all of his power, though this still isn't enough, and Jiren grabs 17 by the neck, ready to throw him out of the ring. That is, until a huge beam of light shines up into the air, and Jiren drops 17 to look and see what it is. Goku rises from the light slowly, and reveals that he has ascended. He has achieved the Ultra Instinct Omen form. Jiren can feel the pressure strike at him from here, and begins to get a little nervous, and then sees another figure rise up next to Goku. Lek sits up, not having gotten Ultra Instinct like Goku, but a stronger power-up as well. Just like in the Super Android 13 movie, Lek was able to absorb the power of the Spirit Bomb within himself, and ascend to a higher power of Super Golden Lek. Lek launches towards Jiren and punches him straight in the gut and kicks him towards Goku. Goku dodges out of the way as Jiren goes to strike at him in retaliation. Goku dodges all of Jiren's strikes and kicks him up towards Lek, who slams him right back down to the ground again. Jiren then begins to get pummeled by the two, and has to unleash his full power to not be killed. Even though Goku is only an Omen, he's able to deal a lot of heavy hits, as this new Omen power is a lot more powerful than a canon one, since Goku is a lot more powerful than a canon with all the extra training with Gohan and Lek. So the Omen state can be as powerful as the MUI one right now. Lek may not be able to have the power of Ultra Instinct, but he has the combined power of all of the fighters inside of him amplified due to the Spirit Bomb's power, so his attacks are hundreds of times more powerful. With these two dealing so many powerful hits, Jiren is no match, and right when it seems like they're gonna knock him out, Goku screams out in pain and loses his Ultra Instinct. He worked himself too hard with a form he's never used before, and he collapses. Jiren takes this opportunity to punch Goku away, and then begins his counterattack against Lek. Hey everybody, sorry to interrupt the video, but it's sponsorship time. This video is sponsored by Fandom Ion, who sells some really great anime and manga merch, and a bunch of other cool merch for some pretty cool prices, such as Marvel merch as well for all you Marvel nerds like me.
If you want to get these fine items for an even lower price, then make sure you click the link in the description down below and put in a discount code DAMON for not 5% off, but 10% off of your order. Again, that's code DAMON for 10% off of your order. Hopefully, you won't regret your purchases. Now, let's get back into the video.
Lek is still powerful, but without Goku, he can't hold off Jiren fully. Jiren is weakened by a great deal, thankfully, so he can still hang in there, but not enough. Lek can't let it end like this. He caused this whole mess, so he's gonna be the one to end it. He won't let his universe and everybody he loves get erased. Lek launches himself back and begins to charge up his strongest Kamehameha. Jiren runs over and tries to stop him, but Lek fires it straight at him. Jiren is hit dead on, but still manages to hold it back. Lek tries to give it all he's got, but Jiren is still pushing it back somehow. He's very weak, but holding it back by sheer willpower. Jiren is walking towards Lek, and he doesn't think he can hold on anymore. As he begins to fall back, an extra Kamehameha is fired behind him. Lek looks back to see Gohan there, telling him not to give up. They can do this together. Gohan and Lek combine their powers to continue to push Jiren back, with him not expecting the extra Kamehameha, and he begins to stagger. Gohan keeps pushing Lek to not give up and to unleash everything they have, just to keep focusing on. Jiren is then suddenly struck by two blasts from both sides. He turns to see Goku and 17, still here to distract him. Gohan yells out, "Now," and the two unleash their full power to blow Jiren straight out of the ring. The two collapse to the ground, exhausted, and the tournament is won. Universe 7 is the victor. Universe 11 is erased, and the Super Dragon Balls are gathered for the victor to get his wish. Since Lek was the one who eliminated most people, the wish is his. Lek tells Super Shenron that he wishes for all of the universes that were erased to be brought back, and if that's okay. The Grand Priest and Zeno smile, as this is what they wanted all along, and the other universes are brought back. All of Universe 7 give Lek a gigantic hug as he managed to save them all and show the Omni King that there still is good in the universes. He is the hero of the multiverse. Lek begins to tear up as this is what he always wanted, to be a hero. With the tournament completed, the group all return to Earth to celebrate and continue their training to get even stronger. As they all keep training, there is eventually a visitor on Earth, one who is a member of the Galactic Patrol, Miras. Miras has come here to inform the others about the Moro situation out in space, since Majin Buu is no more, as Goku destroyed him years ago. He wants to have the people who destroyed him be able to help take down Moro. So basically, he wants Goku and Gohan to go off and help Moro get captured. Since Gohan is a lot more focused on protecting everybody now, he decides he'll join up with them about going into space to capture Moro with Goku and Vegeta. Gohan joins the two in going to find Moro, and even with Gohan there, the events in space all basically happened as normal, and they'd all get brutally beaten by Moro, absorbing their energy. With no Buu there to help them, they'd be beaten hard. But luckily, since Gohan is there, they wouldn't all die. After losing Namek, Goku and Vegeta would go their separate ways to go and train, with Goku still trying to perfect Ultra Instinct, and Vegeta going to Yardrat. Gohan, however, returns to Earth to get some help from the strongest person he knows, Lek. Now, let's head a little bit back in the story to before Miras came to Earth, and head into the events of Broly. Now, the big thing this part is that Frieza has been dead for quite some time, as Lek killed him back in Resurrection F. He was never revived for the Tournament of Power, since there are plenty of strong fighters who take his place, so he's been dead for quite a while now. Though, the Frieza Force has still been trying to thrive since his defeat, and are deployed to go out to other planets to try and find any recruits that they can. This leads Chi-Lai and Lemma to Vampa as normal where they encounter Broly, and everything with them plays out as it did normally. Instead of meeting with Frieza though, they meet with Berry Blue and Kikuno, who think that this new Saiyan is what they need to be able to revive Frieza. They take him to Earth, and this is when Goku and Vegeta arrive to stop him. Paragus still wants his revenge on Vegeta, so Broly attacks these Saiyans as normal, and the fight begins. Vegeta and Broly fight with Vegeta faring a bit better than usual due to him being stronger in this timeline. Though, Broly is able to adapt to how strong Vegeta is and knock him around some. Vegeta is able to push him back with the Super Saiyan God state, however, which leads to Akari Broly being born, and Vegeta getting beaten around again. God Goku then comes into fight, which is exactly what Berry Blue and Kikuno wanted. With the Saiyans distracted, they're able to get the Dragon Balls together, and they wish for Frieza to be revived. Though Shenron says that it's impossible, as Frieza has already been brought back to life once before. The two minions didn't expect to hear that, and Vegeta quickly teleports over to them and knocks them both out before they can blob another wish. With that problem taken care of, Vegeta says that they don't need any wishes right now, and Shenron departs. With all that over and done with, the fight between Goku and Broly can continue as normal, up until it's time for Paragus to die, as without a Frieza, there's nobody around who can actually kill him. Though this time, to make things more interesting, let's say that Astray Energy Blast actually did take him out during a fight, and seeing how his father became collateral damage, Broly transforms into his Super Saiyan form and begins to really beat down on Goku and Vegeta. The two realize that they can't win on their own, and need to escape to go and try something else, though they can't just leave Broly here to go wild, and this is when Lek and Gohan come in to help. Piccolo telepathically contacted them to let them know the situation, so the two showed up to help. Goku and Vegeta instant transmission away, and the two fight him off. They are really surprised on how powerful this guy is, and are kicked around pretty heavily. Lek is pretty surprised at another challenge, and this Saiyan certainly is another one. He's not as strong as Jiren, he doesn't think so, but he's getting there pretty fast due to his power rising more and more as he fights. Lek is able to not be taken out right away, but he thinks he would do a much better job if he could regain that form he used against Jiren during the Tournament of Power. He hasn't been able to access it since then on his own, and he doesn't like having to use the power of a Spirit Bomb every time to get this power. But right now, if he wants to stay in the fight, he really doesn't have a choice. Lek flies into the air to gather a Spirit Bomb, as Gohan is beaten down pretty hard by Broly. He now has to hold Broly off for 3 people now, and that isn't really doing him any good. Luckily, Gohan is able to make sure Broly doesn't spot the Spirit Bomb, and this gives Lek enough time to gather enough energy and absorb it all inside himself to regain that spirit power he got during the tournament. Lek launches back down towards Broly to save Gohan, and Broly wasn't expecting to actually be hurt by his attacks. Lek can now match Broly in power, and does a pretty good job fighting along with him. None of them are able to gain the advantage, but are pretty evenly matched blow for blow. Unfortunately, as the fight progresses, Broly's powers keep increasing while Lek's are decreasing. Since his power isn't his own, he's unable to really keep it up for very long, and is cursing himself for not being able to use his power by himself. Luckily, Gohan isn't out for the count yet, and him and Lek team up once more with a Kamehameha to hold Broly back. This time though, Broly is pumping more and more power towards the two than ever, and they're not going to be able to hold it back enough. To make matters worse, Lek loses his spirit form of his, and they're helpless, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, the blast sent by Broly dissipates, and Broly is knocked back by a great deal. The two wonder what just happened, and are very surprised to see Gogeta in front of them. Goku and Vegeta have fused for the very first time. Lek can't believe the kind of power that a fusion can have, as literally every time he sees it, either it being Gohaku or now Gogeta, it's always more powerful than him. Gogeta thanks the two for being able to hold Moro off, and he transforms into his Super Saiyan form to fight with Broly once more. The fight between Gogeta and Broly then happens as it does in the Broly movie, with Gogeta Blue coming out on top and blasting Broly away. Except, I want to believe that Gogeta wouldn't kill Broly, as that would have made Goku and Vegeta, in turn, look like assholes. I'm gonna say Gogeta just decides to knock out Broly. Luckily, as we saw in the movie, once Gogeta fired his Kamehameha at Broly seemed to regain some sort of consciousness of himself, and Gogeta would realize this, and tries to reason with him into not attacking them. Thankfully, once Broly recovers some more, he is able to get his mind right and not attack our group. Gogeta managed to scare the insane out of him, and now Broly is calm. He's still angry that his father is dead, but Gogeta makes sure to let him know that in a year's time, they'll be able to revive his father with the Dragon Balls, so he won't be dead for very long. Broly is really happy to hear this, and the Saiyans invite him to help them out on Earth with training, as he has a lot of potential, and they can help him control his powers. Chilai and Lemo are a little suspicious of these guys, but they did have a chance to kill him, and didn't, so they decided to stay and help out Broly on Earth too. Things end very nicely for the Broly movie here with him staying on Earth, and things are finally going back to normal. And now we can head to the Moro arc proper. As we established in the last part, the beginning of the Moro arc would take place semi-as normal. The big difference being that Gohan went up into space with Goku and Vegeta to try and beat Moro. Of course, that didn't work out, and now Moro is stronger than in canon, having absorbed Gohan's energy as well. They all managed to survive thankfully, with Goku going off to train with Miras, and Vegeta heading to Yardrat. Gohan headed back to Earth to get some allies for the fight ahead, and of course the first person he went to for help was Lek. Lek is surprised to hear that there is already another supervillain out there, though he's kinda happy as the last big villain he really faced was Frieza, so he's eager to face this one as well. Gohan tells him it won't be that easy as this guy's able to drain energy, and while they were a lot stronger than him at first, he drained them of power that way they weren't able to do much. Lek thinks this will definitely be a problem, but they shouldn't need to get to that point as he'll try to wipe this guy out before the energy is able to be drained. Gohan thinks this isn't the best plan ever, but Lek is still a kid, so it makes sense. The two go up the train into Hyperbolic Time Chamber to prepare, and while they're inside, the Marcaretti gang attacks as normal, and Piccolo deals with them pretty easily. Once the gang is defeated, Piccolo informs Gohan and Lek on what is happening, and once the two exit the chamber, 7-3 and the others two names I can't pronounce show up. 7-3 copies Piccolo's powers, and they all begin to fight. Lek is able to quickly take down the panda dude, who I think his name is Yunba or something, while Gohan is able to fight off 7-3 normally as he did in canon, since he knows Piccolo's moves inside and out. 7-3 is taken aback by this power, and realizes he needs to change the tide of this battle fast, so he activates his Moro powers and begins to drain the others. Lek is surprised to feel his energy leaving his body so fast, and him and Gohan transform further to try and get 7-3 to stop. They're able to get a couple of good hits in, but since 7-3 is drained their energy too fast, they revert back to normal and are beaten down hard. Moro has them retreat from Earth as normal though, and Jocko is able to buy them 2 extra months of training. Once Lek is all healed up, he is humiliated. These guys cheated by draining him of his hard-earned power. If only he was like his dad, then maybe he wouldn't need to get all worked up on his power being stolen. Wait, maybe that's the way he can help in the fight. His dad has infinite energy, so if him and his aunt can show up here, then they can distract that 7-3 guy while he goes in for the hard strikes. Of course, that's gonna be easier said than done, as he still hasn't been able to access that new spirit power on his own. He was able to get that kind of power after absorbing the Spirit Bomb, though he doesn't think he always needs the Spirit Bomb to access that kind of power. It really felt like his body evolved after using this power, so he thinks he has to try and evolve his power further to get energy like this again. He'll continue to train with Gohan in the Time Chamber, though he would like it if Goten and Trunks came along too. They've been his training buddies forever now, and they're able to get Super Saiyan 3 as Gotenks, a form neither one of them could really achieve on their own. So maybe with their advice, he can try and find a way to get a power on his own like that. Goten and Trunks would be happy to train with Lek again, and as Gotenks, will be able to help him get this new form of his. The gang all train together to try and get more powerful, and help Lek achieve this spirit form to grow in power. As they continue on into Chamber, Gotenks is able to help Lek look inside himself. He is the reincarnation of a bug guy who had everybody's DNA. He has been able to use that DNA to get his super form and his golden form. Though, with everybody's energy in the Spirit Bomb, maybe he was able to amplify the DNA of everybody else and boost his powers greater with his energy. So what he really needs to do is look inside himself for the powers of everybody else he has, and he'll be able to achieve this form again. Lek thanks Gotenks for the help as he realizes how mature they've gotten since the Buu days, and they'll continue to train together. Eventually, the 2 months are up, and it's time for the group to face off against Moro and his goons. The Z Fighters all come together once again, and this time, Broly is here, as he wants to help out his new friends in fighting too. 7-3 and the others attack the main group, and Lek and Gohan try their best against him to make sure they doesn't take everybody's energy, especially Broly's, as he basically has limitless power, so if that gets taken, they're all screwed. Thankfully, Lek's plan does help out, as 17 and 18 show up to beat down on 7-3, as their energy can't be taken. When 7-3 is taken down, this is when Moro himself shows up on the planet to feast on everybody. And instead of trying to fight himself, he sends in Saganbo to finish these guys off. Lek is pretty insulted that the lackey is sent in, so he instant transmissions in front of Moro to take him on himself. Though Lek is pretty much bodied in no time at all and sent flying into the ground. He doesn't know what that's about and keeps trying to go against Moro, but he just keeps getting the crap kicked out of him. He won't give up, but after hearing everybody having such a rough time with Saganbo, he leaves Moro to go and help against him. Thankfully, with Lek and Broly back to help, Saganbo isn't too much for them with everybody against him and Moro pumping him with too much energy, he is taken down. Moro is impressed that they can go against his minion, but after laughing at Lek, he says they're nothing against him. Though thankfully, Goku makes his way to the planet with the Ultra Instinct Omen form, so he's able to hold off Moro. This fight pretty much goes exactly as it does in canon, with Lek surprised on the power of Ultra Instinct and how Goku has improved with it a lot since the tournament. Not enough, unfortunately, as since Moro has also gotten stronger than in canon, Goku is knocked out of his UI form and left to die. Lek isn't going to let that happen and charges Moro once again to save Goku. He's knocked away once more, and Moro tells him that he is nothing to him, so to stop. Him? Nothing? The perfect being? He doesn't think so. Lek says he's not going to let Moro destroy his home, as him, all of his friends, and his family won't let that happen. They fought for too long to let it all be over now, and he's going to show them the combined might of all the Z Fighters. Lek powers up, and after finding all of his strength, he powers up once again into his spirit form. Moro didn't expect as much of an increase in power, and is clocked by Lek to send him away from Goku. Lek and Moro begin their battle now, with Lek trying to avoid the energy absorption like Goku did, and he keeps beating down on Moro with the Z-Fighter's attacks. The most devastating one being his own Super Ghost Kamikaze attack. Moro isn't going down that easily though, and stays in the fight, until he gets punched really hard in the back by Vegeta. Lek is happy to see Vegeta here, as in all honesty, he isn't used to this power yet, and needs a break. Vegeta says he has a plan to stop him himself, so Lek should stand back anyways. Vegeta shows off his new Forced Spirit Fission, which is able to depower Moro by a great deal. All of the Namekians taken were brought back, and all of the energy he took from the 3 Saiyans is given back to them as well. Moro knows he's lost now, and flies up to go and absorb 7-3. Lek sees him blast off and isn't going to let him get away, so he instant transmissions up to him and knocks him back towards the ground. Moro curses his child for stepping in his way, and begins to fight him. But with most of his energy gone, he's nothing to Lek now. Gohan then appears next to Lek to keep him away from 7-3 as much as possible, and a dual Kamehameha they fire does the trick fine. Once Moro is blasted back towards the ground, Vegeta launches a full power Final Flash at Moro to disintegrate him and end his reign of terror for good. Yep, Vegeta managed to take out the main villain. The remnants of Moro's goons, including 7-3, are taken into the Galactic Prison, and the others are all healed up. Goku still hasn't gotten the mastered form of UI down, but is happy that the situation didn't get worse than it needed to. Moro is defeated, and everything pretty much goes back to normal. Lek goes back to 17's island with him, and greets the Cell Juniors defending the island. He managed to save his home quite a lot now, and is really happy that he's taken the Cell name in a new direction. Literally too, since his name is Cell backwards. His home is safe now, as long as its reincarnated soul will be around to protect it. Good thing too, as someday it looks like his past will come back to bite him. For now though, that's the end of What If Cell was reincarnated. It's been a wild ride through this scenario, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did making it. If you guys want to see more videos like this one, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I'll definitely continue on with others like this if you want. Thank you all so much for joining me for this scenario, and until we meet again. See you later!